soundtrack could not be more amazing, in my opinion. I mean, they could have done like a tribute to World of Warcraft theme or something like that. Actually, they do at the end, but we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, I love the soundtrack of this movie. This is obviously a reference to Warcraft 3, how it started out with one orc and one human facing off at each other. I guess they did that on Mists of Pandaria as well. When I first saw this, my mind was blown. And it still is. I love the CGI on these orcs. They look so real. And it's kind of cool to see a realistic female orc, since they are kind of underrepresented in Warcraft cutscenes. I just love it. Some people talked about how the orcs they seem more human than the actual humans in the show. This gathering of the clans is really fascinating to me. It brought me a lot of good memories of Beyond the Dark Portal on Warcraft 2. Blackrock clan was on Warcraft 2. They were the Reds. Laughing Skull was, I believe, yellow on Beyond the Dark Portal. Could have been white. I'm not quite sure. Oh, Gul'dan. Yes. He is my favorite character. He's so cool on this. The Draenei look pretty cool too, but they were retconned, so I have a hard time enjoying their presence in this film. And in the official Warcraft lore, Garona is half Draenei, half orc, but in this she's not, and I like this lore better. Oh, I love that dark portal. Gul'dan has always been one of my favorite characters in Warcraft, and they did him so well. I don't know how his voice has that resonant quality. It's not just pitched down. It's like there's a creepy vibe to it. I like how his eyes are glowing green too. He's got so much fel that it's glowing through his eyes. And I get how, the Draenei might have been too much for critics to swallow. They might have been like, who are these weird aliens? This music just gave me chills. The day I went to see Warcraft in the theater with my brother, who I grew up with playing Warcraft, was one of the funnest days of my life. Because we spent all day just listening to the Warcraft 1 soundtrack, the Warcraft 2 soundtrack, World of Warcraft. We just got ourselves so psyched to watch it, and we watched it in the theater on opening night, which I hardly ever do, and it was so much fun. That is the Twisting Nether in all its awesomeness. I don't really understand why there's this sort of limbo in between the two portals. Maybe it's because it's so far away. They're on different worlds and stuff. It's also cool that the portal in Draenor is vertical and the portal into Azeroth is horizontal. The Swamp of Sorrows. Actually, no, right now it's a forest, I guess, and then eventually it turns into Swamp of Sorrows. Huh? This is so cool. I also really like how that's how Thrall turned green. That's the way that's explained in the real Warcraft lore is kind of weird. But there's a mountaineer looking over the woods. Reference to the first World of Warcraft cinematic. King Magni's awesome. I don't get it. Was he trying to shoot that guy? That guy was so sweaty. Gul'dan's my favorite Horde character. Khadgar's always been my favorite Alliance character. They did magic so cool on this movie. Oh, I love the scale of everything on this. Elwyn Forest is just so big. They had to shrink everything down on World of Warcraft, but Murlocs. Gotta throw in the gratuitous Murloc. Griffins are as awesome as I always hoped they would be, and always imagined them to be when I played Warcraft 2 back in the day. I like the ears. I wish so bad that they could just make one more Warcraft movie. I feel like one more would possibly give them a chance to get on their feet with a storyline, but not the one that they were planning on doing with the focus on Thrall and stuff. If they would focus more on Gul'dan or something. Karazhan. Oh, it looks so cool. You guys want to see how into the Warcraft movie I am? These are amazing, by the way. They're basically Mike and Ike's and hot tamales mixed. I kept a box as a souvenir. Medivh is awesome too. I guess it's a toss-up between Medivh and Khadgar. I'm not sure which one I like more. It's like a Geiger counter. A few years ago, they auctioned off a bunch of props from this show, and I would kill for just anything from that show. A banner, a book, anything. Teleportation circles are the coolest thing on here. I love it. There's Tiesh, his Raven staff. Who are those guys that got thrown to the side? Did you see that? It's like he appeared in between two people and they fell over, but then they're gone. That was weird. I think I noticed that. So in terms of pacing, I get it. Like, it's getting a slow start, right? They have a lot of world building to do. As a fan of Warcraft, I don't care at all, but I get it. Might have been one of the things that the critics were right about. One thing I never understood about Stormwind, why is there symbol the lion, but I've never seen a lion anywhere on Azeroth? I mean, it's awesome, obviously. The Lion of Stormwind, the Lion Horn of Stormwind, but... Huh. Did you hear the Knoll? Medivh has an interesting dynamic with Khadgar, He's like kind of mad at him for being his heir or whatever, but he, like lets go of his staff, trusts him to that. Now, I don't get why the Fel was there. Is Gul'dan going around blasting stuff? Magic missile is so cool. Or I guess arcane missiles is what they're called in Warcraft. I just love the scale of orcs on this. It really just goes to show. It really goes to show just like how big and powerful and like invincible they are compared to humans. Like the humans really have to use like wits and cunning to kill them. The CGI on this is just top notch, especially the magic. I love the effects with the Fel and Medivh and Khadgar's magic. Oh, those frost wolves are awesome too. I love how the horse can just sort of barely carry his bulk, and the way he steers the horse is just by turning its head. How much do you think the orcs weigh? Like 600 pounds or something? They're so huge. Like a single finger is as big as his hand. Those wolves are terrifying. Those like tusks they have. I love the magic. It's so cool. I love the runes and arcane circles going around his wrists and stuff. It's so cool. And the runes, I think, are directly from like Warcraft 3, those runes on the ground too, which is sweet. Are they speaking English? Or did they change it to what his perception of the language is? I couldn't tell. One thing I don't really like, her eyes. They're clearly contact lenses or whatever. I mean, if you want to make her eyes like super green, that's fine, but those contact lenses were kind of low quality. And I've seen behind the scenes, she wasn't in like body paint or anything. Like she was just her normal olive skin, and then they digitally made it green. So why not? Why can't they just make her eyes green? I don't know. 7 kingdoms. Could that be Azeroth, Stromgarde, Alterac, Gilneas, Dalaran, Lordaeron? No, they probably counted Quel'Thalas and Cosmodon, so the small teeth. There's Grom Hellscream. That's Grom, and the other one in the background, I'm not quite sure what his name is. I also like how Duratan called Medivh a warlock. It's like their word for a mage. I thought that was kind of a funny... some of the orcs' fangs, though, are just they're too much, Like, how could you even talk if you had teeth like this? One thing I've always loved, orcish buildings. Ever since I was a kid, I thought they were so cool how they were made with horns and bones and like stone slabs and just like leather stuff. I was saying this earlier, but the orcs just look so good. It was a real accomplishment to make them not look uncanny, They look, fearsome, but also kind of approachable in a human way. I remember watching that little exchange many times in one of the trailers or something. I watched the trailer so many times. I wish Garona would have been in Warcraft 3. I think we could have learned more about her. But then again, I like this Garona better than the one established in Warcraft lore, so she has her pinky out. She's an orc with class. This is my boomstick! Does it say blood hawks or blood ox? I just realized, why is Garona green? Was she infused with the Fel by Gul'dan? I guess that makes sense, because I think Gul'dan is like her slaver or something, her slave master. Well, he rescued her or whatever when she was a kid, so. Such a cool landscape. So much potential in a Warcraft cinematic universe. Survive mating? Orc mating must be extremely violent. Now, I think he was using the term honor kind of on her level. But I don't really know what he actually means by that. I forgot they call him small teeth. That's pretty funny. Red Ridge Mountains with that bridge and everything. Or no, that's Red Ridge with the bridge. And there's whatever that keep was. One of the complaints about critics of this movie was that there are too many main characters and too many locations. But again, Rogue One, way too many main characters. And like 15 planets that they go to. Nobody complained about that. It's like they were seeking, faults in this movie. Okay, Lordaeron, Quel'Thalas, Cosmodon. I wish I could see the logos in front of them. Why are his teeth pink? I've never understood that. That's so gross and weird. Come on, show the rest of the table. Oh, I saw the Stormwind logo, but the Alliance banners are one of the coolest things I love about Warcraft 2. They might have had all of them around that table, but I wonder how she knows Durotan so well. I guess she's just really smart. That's kind of her character quirk, is that she's super smart and that she can learn languages super fast, which makes her a really interesting half-orc. She's literally like the bridge between the orcs and the humans. I wish I could look at each one of those papers more closely. It's cool how the different districts of Stormwind have different colored roofs. I think that's the way in World of Warcraft, right? Shame on you, Orgrim. That Doomhammer is awesome. Impractical, but pretty awesome. One thing that's interesting is the closed captioning, the subtitles. It's in the same font as Warcraft 3 uses, and World of Warcraft, I believe. What is she saying right there? I assume that's her translating into Common? I wonder if they constructed an Orcish language and a Common language. Yeah, because she's using kind of a different accent when she's translating for him. It's a pretty cool shield. Okay, so the spells they have in this movie so far are Barrier, Arcane Missile, Fireball, Circular Teleportation, Telekinesis. That's pretty awesome. I gotta say, that was pretty sweet. Did they butcher his wolf just then? Now, lightning is strictly a shaman magic school, but I kind of get why they did it. Like, I don't know. I thought it would be kind of cool if they would have done like a blizzard, kind of a reference to the spell in Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 and the Blizzard Entertainment itself, but I guess that wouldn't really work as well for the walls and everything. I need to do a better look out for the other famous orcs in the background, because I know there's a lot of them besides just Grom. Lothar will remember that. Poor Callan, or whatever his name was. Oh, now there's a blizzard. Kind of. That lion helmet is pretty awesome. I like how strong she is. And that mana font, like, what is that? It's so cool. Oh. When orcs have the Fel, their skin turns green. When humans have the Fel, their eyes turn green. It's interesting. Now, why was he named Black Hand before his hand got torched off? That seems a little backwards. Pretty much every item of orcish clothing is rule of cool. It's so impractical. This is one of my favorite parts, lore-wise.
In my travels, I met a strong and noble people. Among them, A female who accepted me for who I was, who loved me.
He is her father. That is such a cool lore point. Way better than the normal lore in World of Warcraft where Medivh and Garona are lovers and they have that half Draenei, half orc, half human son or whatever. Like, Garona is clearly not half Draenei. That was one of the worst retcons they could have made, but in this, she's half human, and she's his daughter, and it's so cool. It's funny that they have to chisel the statues on the side, you know, it's kind of funny. The South and the Shadow Moon clan, is that what he's from? I also really like Gul'dan's robes. That sort of like orange glowing runes around the edges. And it's just so crazy that Gul'dan is so corrupt that he's just sipping on the fel, you know, just sipping on that guy's life force as if it's nothing. So awesomely evil. I just sucked 1 year of your life away. You'll notice it kind of cuts off a little quickly there. That scene was originally extended, but it was kind of awkward. That was pretty sweet. I love how she's like, I'll bathe in your blood, Orgrim. And he's like, maybe, but not now. Get going. Dalaran is awesome. Warcraft fans were like, Dalaran wasn't flying in the sky yet by this point. So it's awesome. And Tinnitus. It's kind of cool how their eyes glow when they're just super full of magic, you know, like Gul'dan and Tinnitus here. I've seen some outtakes with Antonidas without the little glow in his eyes, and he looks really creepy. He's a weird looking guy. Is that these mages' job, is to just sit there 24 hours a day making concentrating on that spell that makes it like spin and stuff? It's cool when he blinks. You can like see the light through his eyelids. That's a kind of a cool touch. Now, are her eyes green? Are we to understand that the fel is somewhere? I don't really get who she is. I like those like solar flares off the font. It's kind of cool. I feel like if you were colorblind, this movie wouldn't be as impactful, you know? It really used that color green. Medivh's half demon form is so cool. Deadwind Pass. I thought it was called Deadwind Pass because it was where Karazhan was destroyed and it was all dead there. So is that a continuity error? It's hard to understand if is Medivh just trying to sort of cover up what he did. I like Lothar a lot. His actor is really good on this. What was that spell he cast, I wonder? Maybe got interrupted. He must be possessed during this because he's obviously being like confrontational and stuff. I thought that Durotan had a deal with Blackhand that he wouldn't hurt the Frostwolves if he submitted, but they kind of wiped his whole clan out. This is where the movie gets really good. I really like the conflict in this. Now, that statue of Medivh, apparently there's some story about it. Like, I guess originally, like in the credits, at the bottom it says there's some credits for young Medivh, young Lane, and young Lothar. And so I guess there was going to be like a prologue where it was them as kids or something, and they defeated some trolls or something, and then they erected the statue of Medivh in his honor. But there's like no evidence of that scene anywhere, but they're still credited at the end, so it's really weird. I feel like that would have rounded out those three characters and their friendship a little bit more too. It's a shame that didn't get left in. But, I guess it's long enough already and there's a lot going on, but I love how it lands right where the Griffin handler is on World of Warcraft. It's so funny. I remember laughing so hard with my brother in the theater. Yeah, apparently Khadgar's meeting with Allardyce, she gave him some XP because he just learned some new spells. Polymorph and a weaker version of the Circle of Teleportation where he has to use chalk or charcoal to draw it instead of just a staff. Actually, maybe it's the same spell, but the staff just sort of eliminates the need for material component every time. I just love that Circle of Teleportation every single time. I think she just ripped his throat out. Poor little Thrall. And poor Draka. I love this part. Gul'dan is so much cooler in this version than in the actual game. First of all, that is a freaking awesome robe, how it's just like strips held together. Second of all, those spikes, I love how Gul'dan is just so corrupted with the fel that he's growing horns out of his back. Like, that is so cool. And I like how Gul'dan is freaking strong, too. I mean, he's a warlock and he's an old man, but he's also empowered by the fel, so... I think in World of Warcraft, Gul'dan's spikes are just like part of his clothing. I think that's what one of the creators of Warcraft said. That's just so dumb. Oh, I love this fight. It's so cool. Oops, nobody saw that, did they? Can't cheat, Gul'dan. Can't use magic. I think it would have been cool if Gul'dan did like some kind of suplex thing where he like flipped back and just impaled him with his spikes. That would have been kind of cool. Oh, that is so like sad to just see how he just sucks the life out of him. I'm not dead yet. This scene is really significant because Durotan had the right idea. Like, he was proving that Gul'dan was just a straight up tyrant with no honor for the orcs. Oh, that is so sad. But he has control of anyone who's touched by the fel. This would be such a cool D&D encounter, you know, trying to stop a wizard from chanting or something. This would be a really cool Warcraft 3 map even, you know, like on one side of the map you got Karazhan, you know, fighting a golem and trying to defeat a boss, and at the same time that boss's, you know, moves are influencing this other battle with, as long as he's chanting, the portal is, you know, summoning more orcs and stuff. I feel like the boomsticks probably once had more story to them or something, because, like, why did Magni provide them for the entire army? Like, it's really cool that they needed that edge to kill them, but it's kind of a big reveal that they have the boomsticks, and it's not really clear why. This is such a good movie. It's so cool. I mean, yeah, a slow start. You know, quite a bit of like looking at maps and stuff. But this is a good fantasy movie. It really is. I love this part. Oh man, it's just so unexpected. Like the soft clay, you know. And it's severed head. It's so funny. I always wondered in the trailers why he was missing his shoes. I remember there were jokes about like, oh, the durability in his boots broke or something like that. But oh gosh, Sargeras, so freaking awesome. Oh man. So freaking awesome. This whole scene is just so satisfying. Like, there's no, you know, like that wasn't a cheesy solution to the problem. Like, that was a really cool way. And now he's in the fel. This is my favorite part. And I know I'm like geeking out right now. Total fanboy here, but this is just the coolest.
From light comes darkness. And from darkness
Oh, I love that part. Oh, I love it. He straight up levels up. Oh, I love that. I get chills on that part every single time. But you know what I mean? Like that wasn't a contrived battle. There's so many movies where it's like, oh, they defeat him with some contrived thing, but like the golem was foreshadowed, and then even right here, how he's starts chanting a different incantation that changes the portal to Stormwind. Like, oh, like every part of this, I just love it. I know that Kilrog Deadeye, I think, was somewhere on here, and I missed him. Couldn't see him anywhere. Possibly Kargath Bladefist, but I couldn't see them anywhere. This would be another cool encounter on like a Warcraft 3 map. You know, you're like trying to save villagers or something. I really like Medivh, how he's using his last breath to save as many people as he can. Get behind the portal. It's funny. Oh, I think I heard the peasant death sound from Warcraft 3 right there. That or something. Poor Medivh. Go through. I love how they're like, is it safe to go through? Or and then that one guy's like, whoop. Oh, okay. That pale orc was, I think Kilrog. Oh yeah, I forgot about Mutant Blackhand. That was kind of a glitch. I think if you look close, his hand kind of clips through that guy's head. So that was kind of a CGI fail, but kind of funny. This is a really cool ending too. To me, that makes sense, you know? Like, the trick is if she can kill him, then she can become like a true bridge between the two peoples, you know? Because the orcs will trust her so that she can sort of, you know, work with the orcs to try and, like he said, bring peace between their peoples. Like, I love that concept. Oh, it's so gross how his flesh is like melded with his clothing, sort of. I feel like that orange-haired orc should be somebody specific, but I don't really recognize her. See, that sets up such an interesting concept, like such a cool possibility for a sequel, maybe, you know, where she's, I don't know, a double agent, I guess, which is exactly what she was, I think, in Warcraft 1, I think. That Griffin is so savage. I was just rushing around, just tearing them apart. It's so cool. Love it. Yeah, I just love the ending. How it's like, you know, Garona killed the king so she could become trusted by the orcs, but in doing so, she lost the trust of Lothar. That's a pretty sweet shot right there. Ugh. So gross, and yet so awesome. Come on, where are the other orc chieftains? I know there's like, maybe one of those is Ner'zhul? I don't know. Maybe the shaman with kind of the face mask thing, I don't know. Gosh, it looks so cool. Even this part, I mean, anticlimactic a little bit, but he fought smarter, not stronger. Just tore his bowels open and then finished him off. And here's where Garona's worth as a ambassador to the Horde is so important. That guy right there. Is that Kilrog maybe? I can't remember who the pale orc is. See, I love that. Like, Durotan couldn't convince Gul'dan. He couldn't convince the Horde to, like, you know, that Gul'dan was wrong, but she could. Like, that's so cool that she has that charisma, I guess, that the other orcs don't have. But yeah, the stakes, the conflict, the trade-off in the end is just really pretty cool. Yes, you did. Oh, cool! You can see Westfall in the distance over there. I guess Westfall was actually where they were pillaging and like capturing villagers before. I think that elf with the scar has some sort of significance. I can't remember who he's supposed to be, but this part gives me the chills too because the people who are cheering for the Alliance right here, Azeroth, those are people at BlizzCon, which is pretty cool. They recorded people at BlizzCon chanting that, which is really neat. Gosh, it makes me miss the old Blizzard. Like, it really does. The old Blizzard that we could trust and that was just, made such good games and didn't screw up my favorite PC game of all time. Boy, oh boy, I love that movie. And I wish so bad that it could have kept going. I would have loved a second one about, Tides of Darkness, Gul'dan, finding the Tomb of Sargeras and everything. I know that they would have made it about Thrall, like that's kind of what they were trying to. Oh yeah, there was a scene where Chris Metzen was in it originally. He was a perfume salesman, like a merchant, but they had to take it out. This song will always bring back good memories of that time when my brother and I went to the theater and had a box of these to eat, and it was a great time. Blizzard just is not what it used to be, and it's so sad to me. I think watching this movie is when I was most proud to be a Warcraft fan, like just watching this, I don't know, like things just looked so cool back then, but a couple of years later they screwed up Warcraft 3 Reforged. I shouldn't say Blizzard, I guess Activision and Bobby Kotick screwed everything up for everyone, but it's the idea of it. So yeah, I played Warcraft 2 when I was 7 and 8, and then I played StarCraft when I was probably 9 or 10, and then World of Warcraft 3. I love this. I got chills too in the theater listening to them play this World of Warcraft theme. So cool. Oh man, every time I watch this movie here at the end and I hear this music, I think of all the fun years I've had playing World of Warcraft, and especially Warcraft 3. And okay, so Kultiris and Lordaeron. Okay, so those were the only two delegates they had there, whatever. Oh dang it, I missed it, but I think it said something about young Lothar and young something. Anyway, thanks for joining me watching this movie. Great movie. Great fantasy movie in general, and one of the best video game movies. I mean, yeah, it wasn't perfect. It was a little slow sometimes, but that ending was amazing. It was fun. It had amazing locations, and like the costumes and effects were amazing. There wasn't time to like deepen the characteristics and personality of all of the characters and everything, but it was still really good, and I feel like if they would have had a franchise as big as Star Wars, critics would have loved this, you know, just like they loved Rogue One, even though it had a lot of these same issues, just because they're like, oh, we know what Star Wars is, we grew up with it, it's amazing. But of course, everybody who grew up with Warcraft, I think, enjoyed this movie quite a bit. But anyway, I'm sorry I don't publish videos about Warcraft anymore. Warcraft 3 Reforged just kind of screwed it up for me, and I haven't been... I've just kind of not really gone back to Warcraft 3. There doesn't seem to be much of anything left to talk about. You know, I had so many videos planned for Warcraft 3 Reforged, but when it was so bad, I just lost all desire to play the game anymore. I haven't played Warcraft 3 in a year or two at least now, and so it's sad. And I know that most of you are here at my channel because of Warcraft, so sorry that I'm just posting, you know, cooking videos and stuff like that, but yeah, that's why I just kind of lost all my steam, lost all my my fire for making Warcraft videos. You know, I'm sure I could go back and do other stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this movie. So please, let's have a conversation in the comments below. Let me know what you thought, what your favorite part was. If you have any questions about Warcraft for me, or any questions about the channel, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. I don't usually look at comments on some of my older videos because there's a lot of them, you know, and they keep adding up, but I'll try and stay up to date on this video, so this can be kind of a, you know, a conversation about Warcraft and Blizzard and everything like that. So you can also join my Discord channel in the description, although I'm not super active there as well. Again, like I'm just sort of losing my fire for this channel, which I'm sad about. But yeah, if you have any ideas of what you want to see on this channel, post those in the comments below as well. I can't promise much. I will not do custom campaigns of Warcraft 3. That's a common request, but I have no interest. It's hard enough for me to play Warcraft 3 at all, but playing, you know, custom campaigns by fans, that's just basically like reading fan fiction. That's what it feels like to me. You know, it's like they can be made really well, but I'm mostly interested in just kind of the pure story of Warcraft and all of that. And so anyway, make sure also to check out Designer Dave's channel. He's been a invaluable resource on this channel and with behind the scenes stuff since he worked at Blizzard all those years ago. And you should follow Samwise Didier's YouTube channel as well. He has some really cool art stuff on there. Yeah, I don't know what Metzen's up to these days. I know that he went back to Blizzard for something and published a D&D setting, which is pretty cool. But anyway, really grateful for all the people behind the Blizzard that I used to love. So yeah, see, Horde and Alliance chants used in the film. That was 4 years before that. Oh man, good stuff. Oh, okay, 2 years before the film came out at 2016. Thanks for watching with me, guys. Have a good night.